Welcome back to the place that really puts the twat in Sweetwater, the sourest town in Tennessee. First of all, I would like to say sorry for the length of these videos. The problem is that Sweetwater, Tennessee is a town of liars, so I will not cut out sections of the videos. I want you all to see all of the story, not just my version of events. I only want the camera's version of events, and I want you all to see it fully. Now, I may stop a video to speak on a point, but I will always cut right back in. The reason I do things like this is because people like Scott Allen Carroll have lied on Facebook, stating he has a video of me yelling and threatening his children. That is a couple of powerful accusations, and he said he has video proof. He is a liar and has no evidence. I know he has no evidence, and I posted a 45-minute video section to prove his lies at the end of the first video about this subject. That video is called Local Tennessee Government Breaks the Law 01. You can check the description of that video to see the chapters to see the proof of everything I say. In the second video labeled BNN's Rights and the Reason Behind My Intent 02 about Bram, I talk about Tania Rich. She is another one of those people. This video will go into depth about her family and how they broke the law to try to make me follow a rule. Secondly, I would like to make sure everyone is looped in. If you haven't seen these first two videos, I'll provide a brief overview of our current status. Check the chapters in the description to skip all this if you already know or you don't even care. My son wanted to do news so he could exercise his First Amendment right to do so. However, I was harassed by some of Sweetwater Tennessee's public servants, as well as their spouses. Their spouse then attacked me after threatening my wife in her place of employment. I was told that legal, constitutionally protected activity was not lawful by public servants, a police sergeant, the chief of police, a district attorney, and a judge. I was ticketed for constitutionally protected activity and found guilty using hearsay and lies. I paid my fines, waited a year, and protested again. This time, I didn't say anything to anyone. I was then arrested for the words being said on an audio device from an AI, which was all still constitutionally protected activity. The AI never threatened anyone, was never turned up to unreasonable volumes, and the AI never created a hazardous situation. I was put in jail at noon on February 26th, and I was bonded out around 2 p.m. on February 28th. This is all for using cuss words in public. Just so you are clear on what is being said. They didn't like my legal speech, so they ticketed me, lied about it, took my money, then cuffed me and put me in jail. Anyway, the last video was about how amazing my son is, because this all started with him wanting to do news. And now we have arrived at the part of the story that started this whole thing. The local Sweetwater Tennessee Public Library director, Tania Rich, called the cops on my 10-year-old son for doing news in public. Bram starts filming his first news story. This is his first day of 5th grade, and it is in a new school for him. He had a little bit of nerves about his first day. To work that out, he wrote a fake lead-in story. This story was about a kid farting in class. Bram was going to be the farting kid. Then, in the middle of that fake story where Bram was doing a sit-down interview with himself about the fart, this blue Bram was going to cut in and start the real story, a news story about the freedom of the press. I am going to let you listen to what Blue Bram had to say, and then I will show and tell about how it all started to go wrong. Also, he is blue because I'm a dumbass and I did not set any of the settings on the camera. It is set for low-level fluorescent lights, and we are outside in the bright sun. We will see if I can play with the colors in the edit, but this is what our intent has been the whole time. Just a kid and his parents having fun, learning about America and practicing our rights together as a family.
This is Bram of the BNN coming to you from the first day of school. That was the news story, but that isn't the real story today. Today we're going to talk about what are the 5 parts of the First Amendment. Freedom of the press. As an American, you have the right to disseminate information to the public. This is called the freedom of the press, or the First Amendment. There are many forms of news. Newspapers, news websites, even students telling each other about pointless stories about people who farted in what class. Disseminating information just means telling each other things. So literally, anything could be news. That is one of the great things about America. Every citizen is allowed to talk about anything that is going on publicly. Freedom of speech is a part of that, but that is for another BNN story. Just remember, students, Americans like you have rights, and freedom of the press is one of those rights this newscaster is glad we have. Signing off, this is Bram of the Bram News Network, where students have a right to know.
That is all my son wanted to do. Literal news. After we shoot this video, we hop on our pedal tricycles and start the trip back to the house. The trip from the school to the house is over a mile, and we had drunk most of our water while shooting the BNN video. We stop at the library to refill our water bottles, and while doing that, I asked the person who welcomed us at the door a question. It was about a little homemade book my son made over summer break. They didn't want it, and I changed the subject. Since we just came from a BNN video shoot, I bragged about how my son has taken an interest in doing news, and how Bram wanted to do a story about the card catalog this library has. I was then told that I would have to ask the director of the library for permission to film in the library. I didn't know the person I was talking to was Tania Rich, the director of the library. I just didn't pay attention. I stopped my son from correcting her, and we left. When we got outside, Bram asked, "But Dad, don't we have a First Amendment right to film in the library?" I tell him yes, but now isn't the time to argue with a random library employee about how she is wrong. You can write your story about the library, and we can just shoot the video outside. I tell Bram that after I have made sure we were correct about being able to video in the library, then we can go in and do a story about the card catalog. For now, we can just record some takes outside the library. Then, if we get any footage from inside the library, we can splice that in later. So we show up at the library. Bram has all his little news story gear ready. He has a script page that I hold so he doesn't forget his lines. He has worked hard on his story and is ready to get it shot. We stand outside the library across the street with the library in the background, but every take is ruined by passing cars. We then go into the library parking lot looking for a quiet place to shoot his video. We find a cool spot by the back door and set up. Bram starts to do his first take and Tania Rich comes out of the back door. She is slashing her hands across her neck, telling us to cut it off. You're not going to do that here. I ask her what she means, and she tells me that she already told us that we are not allowed to film on library property, and that when we are in public, we have to do what she says. I tell Tania that we are not going to stop. We argue about her rules versus the law, and then she huffs off back inside to call the cops. As she walks into the door, she stops to come back out and points out that they are also recording. She is so stupid that she doesn't understand the people of the library are using their right to record me in public, which is the exact same right I use to record in public. After this interaction, Bram shoots his takes. The main issue was, my dumbass forgot to turn the microphone on top of the camera on, so there is no audio. After we are done, we sit around and wait for the police. Once they arrive, some very interesting things are said. Officer Moore, badge number 813, arrives and is pleasant while walking into the library. I don't have an issue with Officer Moore, but I do have an issue with his knowledge of the law as an officer of the same law that he doesn't know. When Officer Moore and Tania Rich go into the library office, Tania Rich tells Officer Moore why Bram and Dick are there and that she didn't give us permission. She will tell Officer Moore that, unfortunately, when they wrote the policy last year, it didn't include the property. That doesn't matter. My rights still trump your policy. Tania then tells the officer that there is a group of people in public who don't want to be filmed. There are license plates they don't want filmed, and all the other patrons do not want to be filmed. So if Dick is filming something, he needs to make sure none of that is on film. First of all, this is free America. And second of all, my rights still trump how you think things should be. Tania Rich is a power-hungry bitch. I don't just say that because it rhymes. The pig and the dumb bitch, or Officer Moore, and Tania Rich to some have a cute little conversation. Moore says that with it being public property, it would need to be in the policy to stop me from using my rights. He is very wrong. They then talk about how I can't record my son doing news in public because it is creepy. After that, they know exactly what it is. Dick is a First Amendment auditor. Yet again, guess what? They are so wrong, it isn't even funny at this point. Moore then tells Tania that it is public property until it is in the policy. What the fuck does that even mean? Officer Moore then tells her that Dick has the right to record, but he can't record the people or the license plates is all he can tell Dick. Tania, being the brilliant mind she is, asks the question, can we block him from recording the vehicles themselves or just the license plates? Moore lies and tells her, just the license plates. She replies, that's creepy. When you see the body cam, notice how they both have a conversation about what I am allowed to do, yet they are both dumber than a box of rocks, and not the smart rocks either. Luckily, Detective Kyle is smarter than these two and arrives at the locked door of the library office. He gets let in. As he enters, he smiles and says, come on, don't lock me out. Tania responds, telling Kyle, that is what we have the active shooter training for. This isn't the only time she says this about me while carrying out her duties as library director, but Tania doesn't care about anything but her little policy. She then states to the cops that active shooter training is why she has to lock a public area downstairs. So at this time, there is a group of older women downstairs locked in a room. My camera is so dangerous that we need to put the lives of everyone around it in danger to keep them out of danger from the danger. Yeah, I don't get it either, but Tania does, and that is all that matters. After this, Tania, a woman who served in the army, wants to know if there is any way to limit everyone's rights outside, and is upset when she finds out you can't, to quote Alanis Morissette. It's ironic, don't you think?
And yeah, I really do think.
Kyle then asks Tania, has he stated a goal? Tania then says, no. Then right after saying that, she tells the officers that we told her exactly why we are out there, but she didn't give us permission. Kyle tells her that we can record inside too, but the library staff stops him and says, Dick can't because they are a limited public forum. Yet again, they are dumb as fuck. Kyle will state that he doesn't know why Dick is filming, and Tania Rich is ready to tell him why. It is Moms of Liberty. The massive hairy man and his son are there because of Moms of Liberty. She is so smart. So Tania, what is it? Do you not know why I am there? Am I there for news and didn't ask permission? Or am I a First Amendment auditor? Am I a part of Moms of Liberty? Am I an active shooter? Or am I just being creepy? You have 6 reasons why I'm there. Can you just fucking pick one and stay with it? After this, the pigs in the library leeches talk about how Dick is being creepy. They all agree it is creepy. So a 10-year-old doing news, his father being his cameraman for him, and them having fun while learning as a family is creepy now? Or is everyone here trying to paint a little picture of events so they can feel as if they are correct? When Kyle leaves, Tania talks about how Dick is recording again, after just talking about how she keeps an eye on him through recording video cameras. Tania then states that Dick recording his son doing news outside the library will require her to do PTSD training. Does that mean that Bram and Dick need PTSD training because the library recorded them? Then Meera Patel says that as soon as she sees that car, her eyes keep shifting to the camera, and she goes to get Tania. Tania then states that they came tracking her down because she was hiding in the office as soon as he got on the cameras. Officer Moore and Tania Rich then agree that it is sad that the world has come to this just to get clicks. I also think it is sad the world has come to this, but not for the same reasons that they think it is sad. I think it is sad that some people join public service and try to use their perceived authority over the people they serve. They don't understand that they serve us. It is not the other way around, just so we are all on the same page. We pay the public servants, and they do their job. But now, if they don't like something we do, they trample our rights and act like they own us. There is a funny little part just before Moore mutes the body camera for some reason. Tania, thinking the world revolves around her, says I am keeping my back to him because I know he's out there filming me. Moore, then thinking the world revolves around cops, says he is filming Marty and his boy. As you will see, I was only recording my son, but Moore also has something to say about my son being in the recording on his own news story. Moore says that Dick is bringing the kid into it, and there is no reason. I am pretty sure my son, being in his own news channel, which he wanted to start, is a reason to film my son doing news. I wish I could make this shit up, but these people are just this fucking stupid. Tania will then talk about the issue for her. She says that I am allowed to record in the library, but I just didn't bow to her. If I were to just bow to her, I could do this. Then we get reason 7 of why I'm here. Now I am just here to get a rise out of anybody. Tania then says that they are too busy in the library, yet 3 of them are sitting in the office, paying attention to me and my son. Shortly after this, Moore mutes his body cam. During this time, I'm going to only assume the worst things are said. I don't understand why Officer Moore mutes here, but I can make some informed guesses.
Central 813. What's going on, bro? It's going good. How about you?
Good.
Gotcha.
Every day when you breathe.
That's true. Central 813.
Sweetwater unit, active incident 3, state loss receiving item.
Tanya's on her way up right now.
Okay.
One second.
Okay, you're fine.
Thank you for your patience. I guess that's what I need to say.
Hey. Officer Moore, Sweetwater Police Department.
Let's go. We'll get the other gentleman in here. It's hot. Yeah, it's pretty hot. Let's go here. So basically, I knew that this gentleman and his son were going to film something several days ago. We were talking about it. And I said, if you're going to film anything, you need to speak with me as the library director so we can find out what it's being filmed for.
Yeah, the 5, I
And to
have.
set parameters
We're
for
not
it
getting
to be
none,
filmed.
like that.
Policy.
Yeah.
And that's the policy. He's about to give you a copy of it. Unfortunately, when they
I
did
was marking
this,
it up, I'm sorry.
yeah, when they did this policy last year, it doesn't include the property itself. But we have a group meeting downstairs that they do not wish to be on film, do not wish to have their vehicles or their license plates on film, and that includes the rest of our patrons. They should not be.
Okay.
So if he's filming something, we need to make sure that none of that is in his film.
I got you. See, with it being public property, unless you had it in this for him not to be on the property, I
I
can't
know,
do
which is a
nothing.
mistake that they're gonna have to
Yeah, they're
change.
gonna change that. So as
But
far
there's a bunch of them down there going, that's creepy.
yeah, and I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's gonna be one of the
First Amendment audit.
yeah, it's gonna be one of those. So basically, I'm gonna tell him, hey man, because he does, it's public property until it's in his property. You have the right to record. You just can't record the people or the license plates. Basically, all I can tell him. Okay.
Can it prevent the vehicles themselves?
Huh?
Does it belong to the vehicles themselves? Would they have to furnish the vehicle? Or is it just their license plates?
It would be just their license plates.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
You go to the stone.
Okay.
Hey, don't lock me out. That's what we had that active shooter training about. Come on, I just closed the door on the Brothers American Revolution down there to lock the door because we can't lock that back door without stepping out there.
So basically, in the policy, they can't record in here. Public property out there. All they're asking is don't record the license plate or the people.
They can record the license plate of the people.
Okay.
Nothing we can do to stop them,
They can do that as
as
well.
long as they're in public view.
Is there any way as a public library that we can limit that out there in the property itself? Ooh, we have a bunch of upset little ladies saying
Yeah, it's just like if we're walking through Walmart parking lot and look inside a car and see something illegal. There's no expectation of privacy in that car.
because it's on public property. I have a feeling there's not gonna be that much of us left in the library while this thing.
I've already applied elsewhere, so.
It's, what, has he stated a goal? Has anybody talked
He's
to him?
not, he mentioned this earlier this week, he was saying something to the sign over there, coming through and to out the library department, so if you're gonna film, please clear it with me, because of this policy, let me know what it is you're filming for. He didn't do that, he just mentioned it outside and sprayed him with that.
I don't know that you can stop him from filming inside here.
We're limited to
Or
look
with the
for.
policy.
Okay.
We are supposed to.
So that's what,
As long as you don't come
this,
inside.
you're welcome to take this is the copy. So this is what they put in place just last year, because of all this stuff that's going on.
So other than that, no issues, just he's out there filming?
Yeah, the fact that he was already told earlier this week this policy exists, and so he has downloaded the whole policy, by the way. So
He has or you have?
He has. So it won't be the last time that we'll be seeing
Yeah,
this.
and it's a common thing. People,
Oh, it's getting worse, because we're getting all
Radio
over
shop,
from
video
the
check,
county
that's
to
what,
here.
how you copy?
and
You're loud and clear.
I don't know the concept behind, I don't know what the goal is of the filming,
Do you know?
but people do
about how
that
this
to us
started?
all the time. I do
How
not.
it started? During the pandemic, people got isolated.
Station radio shop, radio check,
Have you
that's
heard of
1,
Moms
2,
of
3,
Liberty?
4, 5.
They kicked it off.
We got
After
you.
the
Can you
school
copy us,
libraries
ma'am?
first, which is why McMinn County had the issue with the mouse book being removed from 8th grade curriculum. They've gone from there to where there's new bills that have come down from the state, all being pushed by the Moms of Liberty about books that shouldn't be allowed in libraries. Well, they're not going after books, they're going after the books, the programming, and the displays. And the way current policy is, and then that has been in existence for years here, is there is a reconsideration form. She's got cameras right here on this monitor.
Oh, you're good. I'm gonna be on YouTube because I came in the wrong way on the entrance.
See? Exactly.
I might have.
Did you come in
No, you
this
came
side?
in.
I came in the right way.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
came in
I came.
opposite traffic
Oh.
over here.
Yeah.
You can blame it on street department not
No, it's
replacing
that
the
back
signs.
door, so I just went the back door.
Well,
So he does have this, he has a copy of
He
this.
said he
Yeah,
does at
like
the
that.
house. I said, can you show it to me? Well, I have it at the house, because I was gonna come up and print it off for him.
Yeah,
Instead, what I did is I talked to the staff who watched there, he pulled that, and I went down and talked to the ladies to find out how they feel about it, and they're like, oh no, creepy, 'cause
1,
It's creepy, but there's
3,
nothing to do
4,
about it.
5.
Do you want me to take him a copy of this?
he says he's got one. So for the police department,
Anyway, just pause,
for the
so.
police department, well, clear copy, because he was starting to say there needs to be some changes, they need to be updated. But this is not the last thing. We'll just have a constant change over the staff, and none of us will be here, it won't be a problem.
No, he seen me and started recording me as soon as I put it in.
She's keeping an eye on the cameras though, because once somebody's out there on that side, there's no way for us to lock that outside of the door, because we had unlocked it for the DVR, but they have a separate door to the meeting room that I've closed, that's locked.
I'm gonna make a call real quick and I'll get right back at you.
Yeah. You can hunt for a private place, I don't know if there is any other.
I'll use my truck.
Okay.
Hey, did you put us out here? Because I didn't know which radio. They told us to use this one. I
We're
started
on the 800s again.
Okay.
That one's no. They're transmitting good, but they're not receiving us now.
Oh, that's not good, you guys got problems over here on,
What do you
there he
think?
is right up here, I'm filming now.
We've been dealing with radio issues since last night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And all the mess and the storms earlier this week too.
Yeah. Well, I think lightning might have hit one of our towers over there at dispatch. So that's we've been switching from these radios to other radios, and they say these ones are fixed, and then we go back and then they're not fixed. So I'm carrying like 3 or 4 radios in my car because I don't know which one to use. Right before I pulled up in here, they told us these ones were good, but apparently
So
not.
just flip it back and forth and back and forth. I don't think I've ever seen you respond. I'm the director, Tania Rich.
Jordan Moore.
How long have you been with the department?
I've been here 5 years.
Oh, wow.
3
Just
years
not-
full time, 2 years. Well,
Just
I've
not
been on.
seeing each other.
Yeah, I've been on nights for forever. I just got promoted to day shift. So.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Thank
8,
you.
9, 10.
Night might be easier with all this stuff
Loud and
starting.
clear. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, this ain't the first time I've had an auditor.
He's out there talking to him like
Ain't the
you've
first.
had one before. Were they coming after the police department?
Yep. Yep.
He said he didn't have to listen to me. And I said, oh, what about me? What do you mean, what about you? I said, well, what about me? So I have to listen to you. I'm gonna have to go to PTSD training, I think. I'm ready to get trained.
My third screen just catches my eye the minute that car
Well, I'm
comes
glad
in
you
or
caught
people
that.
come
I mean,
in,
that's
was
the
looking,
reason why she's
I
got too
get
much
shifted
power.
there
She's got the
every
cameras at
single
hers.
time, and I saw
See,
it.
she's got the
Tanya?
cameras over here. They came tracking me down. I was hiding in the office. She's got all the cameras. But we've
Matt, do you
got,
want to
I hope that this is a scheduled time for refreshments, and I do hope this is the designated area for these refreshments.
but
Matt, do you want to tell
we've
them the
got
funny
a
thing
group
that
going
happened
on
with
in the
DAR?
makerspace, and we've got a group going on downstairs in the DAR.
I mean, it's sad the world's came to this where people feel like they have to just all for show and just to get yeah. That's exactly what it is.
But I know my ladies down there are not happy, and a bunch of them sit on different library boards, so I'm sure we'll be hearing it. I'm keeping my back to him because I know he's out there filming.
He's filming Marty and his boy. And the thing is, he's bringing the kid into it. No reason.
The issue for me is the fact that it's not like he didn't know, because I told him out there, hey, you film, come, you know, because I'm all fine with going down to film this and this. We can pick a time when nobody's in the library, or pick a space when nobody's there.
2, 3, 4, 5. We really loud and clear.
Like I said, do anything to get a rise out of anybody.
These guys are all blind for real, so they're so. If they don't go through this, then you won't go. Yeah, we're not our way to go. True. That's just the reality. But I'm thinking Oak Creek would be a good place. I'm liking what he cleaned up here.
I've been since 4:30 because I interviewed there this morning.
And he's like, it's only a portion of what I currently do, and they're paying me twice as much. I said, you don't have time to do that thing that everybody thinks we all do. We just sit around and read, right?
No, it's like,
Officers just eat donuts, right? Yeah. But yeah. Do we need to purchase curtains on this window? I wonder how well you can see through it. And Matt says yes. There's the
yes,
answer.
I've always hated that window there.
It's really not a good spot if y'all are sitting up there with y'all's backs turned, if you want my honest
Well, I
opinion.
know I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
And I've been
I have
fortunate to pull
curtains.
up.
I have
Yeah.
curtains on my window in there for that reason, so I can hold them. There's a tent on it, but I know it's not enough of a tent. Yeah, it's not. Because I know with him standing out there right now, that's why I'm kind of standing right here. To the window.
He's done signed it in here on me to make sure.
Enjoy your day shifts.
Yeah. No,
See the
no.
other side of it.
Here is my first question. Why is this officer allowed to record a video in the library? Doesn't he know they have rules against that? Here is my second question. Why is he not being labeled as an active shooter right now? He is recording video in the library and he has a gun. I recorded video outside the library and I do not have a gun. Yet, I am being labeled an active shooter at this time. Also, I would like to make this point. I have not brandished a weapon, let alone shot a weapon. Hell, I don't even have a weapon on me. What is making the dumb cunt, Tania Rich, label me an active shooter? Am I the only one freaking out about a public servant just randomly calling people active shooters? If you think Tania Rich is doing anything other than trying to get me hurt, here's another important point. In 2 months from this day, Tania Rich will have her husband go to my wife's place of work and threaten her. This is a trap made for me. After going to my wife's work and finding out what happened, I go with my son to walk around the library to show how threats don't bother us. It was at this point in time that I was attacked by James Rich, Tania Rich's husband. I am not from this area. I was born in Kansas City, Missouri. I grew up in Middle Tennessee. As a young adult, I lived all over the northeast coast of the United States. I only moved to Sweetwater 12 years ago. I moved here with my now wife. I don't like to go into the public space. I hate people because I've learned a lot of people out there that are like Tania, James, Scotty Boy, and Lucretia. They will lie and do anything they can to get their way. My point is, I stay at home and mind my own damn business. I only leave the house when I have to. None of these people know who I am. None of these people know my family. The only way Tania Rich knows anything about me is because my family has library cards. And it was a long trip, but we finally arrived at the point. The only way James Rich knows our name or any of the information in this paperwork on screen is through his wife. The only way his wife knows anything about our personal information is by using her job as a public servant. In the future of this video, I will point out how she willingly gives up all my personal information to the police without being asked. She is the director of the Public Library of Sweetwater, Tennessee, and she is comfortable with calling random members of the public active shooters with no reason to do so. She is comfortable with giving your personal information out to literally anyone. She acts like she knows it all and has shown that she knows basically nothing. Why are we being forced to spend our hard-earned tax dollars on sorry pieces of shit like Tania Rich? She and her little library cronies are leeches on the system, and let me tell you, Sweetwater is full of leeches. My third question is, why was all this body cam footage muted? What were they talking about? As I said before, we don't know, but we can always assume the worst. I'm going to assume this is when the police and the public servants make a plan on how they are going to try to take my rights, and maybe about how they are going to attack me in the future. It is currently April of 2025 at the time of the editing of this video, and I have been physically attacked twice and kidnapped twice. The first attempted kidnapping and attack will be shown in this video. I only call it an attempted kidnapping because James Rich is so weak he couldn't even stop my forward movement, but he tried really hard. When he couldn't, he started to assault me. Then in February of 2025, I was arrested and put in jail for 2 days for freedom of speech. They put their hands on me, caused me great pain, and then they kidnapped me for 2 days. I don't know if you have been in jail, but it is just barely better than being homeless. I haven't broken a law, and in a future video, I will show and tell you what really happened that got me arrested after all my court dates are dealt with. I have gotten a lawyer, and I will tell you more about him later. Here is my fourth question. Why is it that no one knows the law? The only shining star in this whole place is Detective Kyle. To be honest, I don't know how this one apple is still good in this pile of rot. Later in this body cam footage, you will see how he knows the law, but dumb people have started to rub off on him. He doesn't state anything false. Let me be very clear on that. This man is the best this police station has to offer, in my opinion. Someone make this man the chief of police as soon as possible. There are only 2 things I don't like about his actions. One, they have him talking about if I were to start going around and stopping people from being free in public, then I would be breaking the law. I know that. He knows that isn't what I'm doing, but he has to do the song and dance that was told to him on the phone by the people we hired to know these kinds of things. Breaking newsflash. They don't know anything, it seems. The DA is just as stupid as everyone else. It isn't a big thing, but come on. 2 is a little bigger, though. My second thing I don't like about Detective Kyle's actions is no body cam. I know, right? How dare he commit such bad stuffs? And that is why he is a shining star. But if he had a body cam, then I could have seen the lies told about me on the day I got a ticket for free speech. Come to find out, if no one records your statement at the scene, then you can just make up anything you want and call that the truth on the stand. It doesn't matter how much video footage proves you are a liar. The judge will just rule in favor of the feelings of a woman who never even stepped outside her door. She sat on the stand, told the judge exactly what happened according to her, and he took her word as the only truth. She never even steps outside her store. She quite literally has no clue what is going on, but she is victim number 2 of my alleged crime. I know you have a couple of questions. Let me ask them for you. How did I victimize her from outside on the sidewalk when she never even exited her store? And who is victim number 1? To be honest, I can't really tell if victim 1 was in the court that day, but they didn't testify. Victim 1 was white public society. If you think that is strange, just hold on for one wild ride. Or like I said, I can't get into it, but my arrest was for words said by an AI program. That audio file was being played on an MP3 player. That MP3 player was not turned up loud. These police then arrested me simply because they were called. I was out there. There were cuss words being said on an MP3 player, and I didn't leave the public. Also, this is a tiny little point, but it may need to be addressed here. The sign I was holding is okay. The police have said many times to me that the words on the signs are okay. It is the saying them out loud that is the problem. So my AI audio file saying cuss words is a problem, but the words cunts lie on the stand and fuck the Shitwater police are okay since they are on a sign. This is the level of greatness I am dealing with. Also, as you can tell if you are still listening, my narrator voice on all these videos has been an AI. As you can see, I don't like to just speak into a microphone to tell my story. It is easier for me to type it out and have an AI do it. Is it always perfect? No, but I got arrested because this AI was playing on an MP3 player. Side note, look at how I have to type MP3 player to get the AI to read it correctly every time. Anyway, my fifth and final question is this. What makes these people think that what they want becomes the law the second they want it? I don't care what makes you want the thing, and I don't care what the thing is. I want you to stop recording because my feelings are hurt is the same thing as saying, I want to take your money because I don't like working. Then you get these uppity bitches that think that because I make it a rule, then it is now law. Let me point out something real quick. They have a rule that says no food or drink. There is a fucking drinking fountain in the building. You have a rule that says no videos while you are recording everything on 10 cameras, and then they break their own rules. Tania Rich has taken out her phone and recorded me in the library twice while telling me you can't film in the library. Well, sorry, this old dumb bitch keeps still calling it filming. I wonder how much film she changes out of the back of her smartphone every night. They're stupid, they're hypocritical, they have rules just for me. They even state in this Bodycam video that because they didn't have the rules set up for me, then they would have to fix that so they could keep me off the property. Let me refresh your memory.
Okay.
So if he's selling something, we need to make sure that none of that is in his form.
I got you. See, with it being public property, unless you had it in this for him not to be on your property, I can't
know,
do
which is a
anything.
mistake that they're gonna have to
But
change.
yeah, they're gonna change that. So it's
But there's a bunch of them down there going, that's creepy.
You just heard Tanya say, there's a bunch of them going, that's creepy. The people she is talking about are the women who are downstairs in what is called the meeting room. It is a windowless room on the bottom floor of the library. Since I have asked so many questions, let me ask another. How do a bunch of women in a windowless room who are having a meeting know that my son and I are outside recording a video? Well, I can answer this one. Watch here as Tanya herself tells us how they know I am out there.
Instead, what I did is I talked to the staff who watched there. He pulled that, and I went down and talked to the ladies to find out how they feel about it. And they're like, "Oh no, creepy."
It's creepy, but there's nothing to know about it.
Now, what you heard Tanya just admit to is this. Dick and his son were outside doing lawful activity. There was a group of women who had no clue Dick and his son were there. Tanya then goes downstairs to them with the intent to cause public alarm by creating a hazardous condition with this act. The police have been called on Dick and his son. Tanya has stated they are in active shooter training, and now she is warning the library patrons about a danger that does not exist. This act that Tania Rich just admitted to has no legitimate purpose other than to get Dick in trouble and to scare a bunch of old ladies. Nothing was going on except Tania Rich wasn't getting her way, so in order to get her way, she commits the offense of disorderly conduct. TN 39-17-305 Section A, subsection 3. In the future of this video, you will see Tania Rich's husband, James Rich, commit disorderly conduct in the library also. These people think they are above us. When they are told they are wrong, they can't believe it. They will be in such disbelief that they will violate your rights over and over again. Over the past 2 years of living in Sweetwater, Tennessee, I have had my rights violated over 20 times, including them cuffing me and putting me in jail for no reason at all. Just because you put a candy shell on a piece of shit, that doesn't make it dessert. And that is what Sweetwater, Tennessee is. A piece of shit in a candy shell. They blow tax dollars on lights, decorations, and signs to try to pile that candy on. At the end of the day, a piece of shit is still a piece of shit. After the Bodycam audio turns back on, and I talk to Detective Kyle again, I will show you what happens when you try to practice your rights inside the library after Tania Rich has been told she is wrong. Tania Rich will lock all the doors, she will harass my family, she will break her own rules, and she will use taxpayer work hours to leave the property to do the exact thing she called the cops on my son and myself for. As you will see, yet again, all my son was doing was news. Tanya locks us out of over half the library to protect the privacy of a meeting that hasn't even started yet. She is unhinged and thinks that the library director is some title of power. Bitch, you are in charge of books. You don't have any authority over anyone, and you definitely don't have the power to protect the privacy of people in public. This insane cunt once told me, and I quote, "When you are in public, you have to listen to me." That is one of the most unhinged, insane things I have ever heard. She is on such a power trip over the job of library director that she now thinks that when we, the people, are in public, we have to listen to her. One, you are not my mama, and if you were, I would have run away from home. Two, my own mother didn't have the balls to say something like that to me once I became an adult. She, the woman who literally owned me, would have never thought that grown-ass adults in public would have to listen to her. Something needs to be done in Sweetwater, Tennessee, or no one in this town will have rights when these people are through. Oh, real quick before the audio turns back on, let me tell you about what happened after the cops leave. When they leave, my son and I also leave after. As I am pulling out, I notice the little troll Tania Rich sneaking around with her phone out. She looks to me as if she is taking pictures of the car. I turn to my son and ask if he saw her. He was so shaken up he wasn't paying attention to anything. I tell him that I'm going to drop him off with his grandmother. Then I will go back to the library to see what is up. I tell Bram to hop out of the car and to take the camera inside. He asks if I am not going to video, and I tell him that I want to see what happens when it is just me without a camera. Maybe she has a problem with me. I go back to the library, park, walk in, and walk around. I don't say anything to anyone. I just walk around. As I enter the library, Matthew Riff is at the desk with a patron. As the woman is talking, Matthew Riff stops her and says, "Sorry, can you repeat that? Something just caught my attention." He quickly finishes with the woman and then starts quickly jogging back to the kids' room. A few seconds later, he pops back out to the desk and just stands there. I keep walking around the main library, and then I start to walk into the maker's room. Tania is standing in the hallway by the exit. She gives me a dirty look, and I ask, "Can I help you?" She says nothing. I walk into the maker's room, and then I go into the kids' room. After walking around the kids' room, I go back into the hallway where Tania is still standing by the door. I walk past her into the main library and start walking around the shelves. Tania stands in the middle of the main library at the end of every aisle I walk down, so when I get to the end of the aisle, she is there. She then starts to try to block me from going down aisles, but not really. She would block my way until I asked her to move, and then she would take one step to the side, allowing me just enough room to get by without us touching. This went on for about half a minute, and then she went off to get some piece of paper. At this point in time, she is across the room from me and then yells to me, "So you couldn't hack it in the Navy." I have no clue what she is talking about, so I tell her I never served. She says, "Well, I read your license plate and it said you couldn't hack it in the Marines." That is when I realize she is trying to get me angry by calling the Marines the Navy. I do this to my Marine wife when I want to get a rise out of her, joking around. I tell her that I will have her job, and that I will have that policy burnt to the ground when I am done. She asks about the freedom to read. I start talking about my rights, and then she tells me how she is an Army veteran. I then tell her that she fought for the rights I am practicing. She turns to me and says, "Yeah, unfortunately." This goes on for a minute or so, and again I tell her that I will have her job for these actions. She says, "Great, do it. I would rather be off sailing on a boat anyway. This is who we the people pay to do this job." Anyway, let's listen in on what these cops have to say.
We're done. We've already recorded everything. We're good to go.
Is your
We were just waiting
intention
on
to
you.
record inside, or
At some point in time, because he wants to do a story about how you use the library. You know, he's a member of the library.
Hey,
and
lot
she
of people
told us
need that story.
Yeah, and
I don't
she
know
told
if
us.
I remember how to. The Dewey Decimal System is lost to
Well,
me at this
not only
point.
that, but they have one in there. They have a card catalog in there, a real one.
Yeah.
And he could go in there and show them. And we went in there. We were one day. We biked from Bram,
Yeah.
and so I didn't have any water, so we stopped here and got some water. And we were talking to her about it, and she goes, "Oh, you can't record in here." And I was like, "Okay, I'll check that out, but I'm pretty sure you can, as long as you're not breaking the law and doing the things that you're not supposed to do in there."
Here's what we got from the DA's office.
Station radio shot.
Whether
5 count.
you or I agree with it or not, to me it doesn't make sense. But they're keying in on something that would be disruptive or interfere with other patrons.
Yep.
In my opinion, you walking quietly and looking through books and checking out the Dewey Decimal System while holding that camera is no different than you walking through with your
non-ringing cell phone in your
Legally,
hand
you are correct.
and reading through that. I think you and I are in agreement there.
Now, see, where that comes into play is if I was coming up to patrons and going, hey, can I talk to you a minute?
Yeah, or you were standing in there saying, I don't agree with X book on the shelf. And
Yeah.
You should look at this book and say...
Yeah, we're definitely not going in there to protest it anytime ever. I know that you cannot do that in there. If I'm going to do that, I'll do it right here.
The DA's office recommended that
9, 10.
until this policy is challenged in the court system, even though it's just the policy of the library.
We might be the ones to do that then.
That's what you should do.
Yeah.
For our purpose,
Yeah.
if they say you can't film in there until the policy's challenged in court,
Well,
we've got to say
Yeah. And here's what we'll end up doing. These bugs are killing me.
yeah, stand on the
Yeah, you were directly on the anthill.
Oh my goodness, no wonder you're getting ate up.
I'm more important than this. But what we'll end up doing is when we go in there to film whatever we film, they'll tell us to leave. I'll deny it. They'll call you. I'll step outside, and then I'll handle it with the people who know what they're doing.
Yeah, and what we're going to tell you is until this policy's challenged, if they tell you you can't film inside, you can't film inside.
Well, and what I hope will happen is you'll say, well, you'll have to leave under threat of arrest, and I'll go, okay, and then that's all I need to hear, and then I'll challenge that policy through that threat of arrest.
Roger that. Bro, be safe, man.
Yes, sir.
Y'all have a good day.
We appreciate you guys.
Hey, have a blessed day, sir.
I got one question for you before we go.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, we ride our bikes on Brown.
Yeah.
People pass a single turning lane constantly, even though that's illegal. I've got video footage of it. I've got license plates. Is there any way I can come down to you guys? I mean, I went there before, and no one, I guess she didn't give out the information or whatever. But is there any way I can give you guys that information so you can get some ticket money?
I think we're not big on ticket. We're not big on revenue in our town.
Oh.
We're not out. I know some towns do that.
I was just, it's more for safety of.
If we can get people to start being more educated on the
Yeah,
law
I mean, can we
without
put
hitting
signs
their
up or something?
pocketbook. Yeah, I think a lot of times, and I dealt with that when my kid just left there last year, and you see it all the time. They'll get way over. They're trying to be polite. They don't realize that they shouldn't be in the turning lane going by.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, because what if someone decides to take that turning lane, and then what they're going to do, I guarantee, is not think about it, jerk, and then my 10-year-old just got hit by a car.
That's exactly right.
We're on that road for at max 2 minutes, and
You
they
get
can't wait
past
for
3
2
times.
minutes. I've got one video where we get past.
Just because they printed out their copy,
I've got the 21-page copy at my house along with the Constitution. Like, we had planned on coming down and doing the whole thing, but we didn't think it was going to be today. We stayed outside today.
All right, brother. Be safe.
Yeah, you guys have a great day.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir. What's the place installed?
I already told you most of what happened after this, when I came back without a camera and without Bram. But the part I left out is this. At some point in time, I tell Tania Rich that I don't give a fuck about her policy. She looks at me with an aha moment in her eyes. She said to me, "You just cussed. That is against our policy, so you can get out." Again, I am confused, but once I got access to this body cam footage, all the pieces started to fall into place. Now, the pink shirt video happened on August 10th, 2023. This next video happened on October 11th, 2023, just 2 months later. In between these, I did a protest to show that you are allowed to cuss in public to prove Tania Rich wrong again. The day after the pink shirt video, I stood outside the library on the sidewalk holding a sign that said, "Tania Rich called the cops on a 10-year-old, and Tania Rich is a power-hungry bitch." Other than that, one day when I had never even gone on library property, I stayed away from the library completely. If you notice, we didn't just go back in to record his news story. We let 2 months pass to let cooler heads prevail before trying to record the inside footage for Bram's news story. Let's see what happens when we do this.
This is Bram with BNN, and we are going to practice our First Amendment rights in the library. We are about to go into the library.
All right, let's get your phone. Somebody's phone getting B-roll here.
Okay, it's ready. Just make sure.
The camera's on this side, Bram. No, hold it right. Get your other hand right. There you go.
You can start at any time. You
Go
gotta
ahead and
press
start
that
it.
red button.
Lock it in. All right, let's go in. Just roll knife. Go ahead. You're the one in the shop, Bram. Keep going. When we get up to the ramp, that's when you'll start. Come over and get the gun.
We're going to be quiet in the library.
Talk and walk.
We're going to be quiet in the library so we don't disturb people in public. Librarians are here to help you find what you need. Libraries have a system to keep books in order. It is called a Dewey Decimal System. This system used to have a catalog of cards to help you find the book you were looking for without walking around a whole library. It was called a card catalog. The library still has a card catalog along with a digital catalog. This is the public library. You can find books and information here. The librarians are here to help you find what you need. Libraries have a system to keep books in order. It is called the Dewey Decimal System. This system used to have a catalog of cards to help you find the book you were looking for without walking around the whole library. It was called a card catalog. The library still has a card catalog along with a digital catalog. can find books and information here. The librarians are here to help you find what you need. Libraries have a system to keep books in order. It is called the Dewey Decimal System. This system used to have a catalog of cards to help you find the book you were looking for without walking around the whole library. It was called a card catalog. This library still has a card catalog along with a digital catalog.
There's also a downstairs. I'll show you what I mean.
It's locked.
There's a place that says that needs to be locked. Is that locked?
No, that's locked too.
So they're restricting our access to downstairs? Right. Come on, please. Come on, bro. Let's get some beef with it. Let's walk around. Give us a tour, Bram. Yeah. Show us around. Since they want to restrict access, I want to show you the downstairs where they hold the meetings.
Oh.
But we can't get there because they want to lock doors. Looks like we're going to be playing a game today, huh?
Yeah.
Give you a tour. I'm video you as your video, right? Go slow. Smart shooting now. I'm just trampling over the rights of a 10-year-old because he's a 10-year-old. Yeah. That's fine, we'll go see. We're gonna catch our footage first. What kind of things do you like to do at this library, Bram?
I usually like to check out
section?
Yeah, I do have favorites.
And when you get there, point it out, right? Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
This is my favorite section of library.
Make sure you show it on the end cap, right?
What?
Make sure you show it on the end cap, right?
What's that?
The end cap of the show. What is the section of? Where I'm pointing. The non-fiction. Right. Let's see if there's more that can lock the doors.
So, Richard, how's things been going?
Pretty good, Tania
Okay,
Rich.
so, you know what the policy is? You're
Don't care
supposed
about
to
your
let me
policy.
know. Okay. So
I don't want to talk to
Go
you.
ahead and leave.
We're not leaving.
Can't have the stands in here with the cameras.
Well, we're here with the stands and the cameras.
It should be blocked.
Do what you gotta do. You're gonna find out though.
What, does you just want a lawsuit so you don't have to work?
It ain't about a lawsuit. We got rights. You're not gonna stop them. Let's go, Bram. Let's video.
So it's public.
Yes, this is public, and we are part of the public.
Public library location.
You don't know what limited public forum means, do you? You're so dumb that you didn't fight for my rights or whatever you said. You're so dumb that I'm the Marine, or I'm sorry, the Navy. You're so dumb that you don't care about your job, but I'm the problem because I'm going to film with my son.
Are you a veteran?
Yeah, she fought for our rights. Locked door. Oh, but I can't see in there, I guess. No access to downstairs. Even though this is public, and I'm part of the public. Yet again, locked door. No access to downstairs because someone has a power trip. Someone's got a big old power trip. I don't want a lawsuit. I want to be left alone. But you seem to have a problem. This time you're going to have to call the cops on a 10-year-old too. Because he's filming.
Would you like to use him as a pawn?
No, because this is his story, you dumbass. First Amendment, again. Just like this, First Amendment. All day I have the First Amendment. So your rules trump all. What about the rule about eating and drinking? Why was I allowed to film during the meeting? Because I was. Why are you allowed to film? Because your policy says you can't. But you did it that day. There you are again. Policy says you can't film, but here we are filming. Is this a special occasion? Because you guys are only allowed to film during special occasions, according to your policy, which is God, not the Constitution. Hopefully you call the cops so they can come trespass me. Well, they're not going to trespass me because I have the Constitution on my side. This is the tyrant. The one that thinks she can just stand on people's constitutional rights. You see, I'm not afraid of you. Not even a little bit. But I am tired of your actions. That's for damn sure.
You can go out the other way if you wish, ma'am.
We're not impeding anybody.
Oh, but you already are.
How?
You just forced an uncomfortable person to leave.
That was her choice, not mine.
I can let you in, ma'am.
Let's see how they have access, but we don't. No, there's a door out there. We're just not allowed to go in. We're not allowed to go see where they do meetings. She's allowed to film, but we're not. Rules for thee, but not for me. Because you're above the rules, I guess. I didn't order that lady to leave. She left on her own free will. That's how free will works in this country. Freedom. It's an amazing thing. Maybe you should learn about it before you fight for it. Thank you. Just like your husband, James, couldn't do shit out there when I had my sign. Freedom. It's amazing. I'm faster than you.
Staff doesn't have to be filmed if they don't wish to.
Don't care. This is public.
Limited public.
Limited public means that I can't come in here and protest, which I'm not.
It also means that in order to
It means I
film,
can't come in here when there's time restrictions, which is closing, not opening. Yes, the public is limited in here, more than in the street. Maybe you need to understand the rights that you fought for, madam. I can have a sign that says, no people of color. That doesn't mean I don't allow people of color because they have rights. I can have a sign that says no food or drink, but I can still bring food or drink in here. I already have a copy of it. I looked it up online. And I was here when you were at the meeting saying about, oh, we should set this rule. I think we should do this. When I also have a video going, oh, I don't set the rules.
I don't.
It's funny because I have a video of you saying one, but doing the other.
I don't set those rules. If you said in that meeting, you should fully understand who sets the rules.
They went off of your thoughts a lot. A lot of times they went, oh yeah. Then you go, this is what I think, and they go, oh yeah. I have video of it. I was videoing the whole time, which I'm allowed to do.
And what did I say? Did I say, this is what I think you should do, or I recommend?
It doesn't matter. They took your recommendations, which means those are your rules. They didn't come in and go, oh, these are the rules we think. You went, this is this, and this is this. I have video of it, because I'm allowed to shoot video. Because this is news purpose. Just like you're allowed to shoot video of me. I'm not calling the cops on you for shooting video, am I? You like to do that, I don't.
No, mine's for security.
What security? What security risk is a 10-year-old shooting a video?
He's not the one just shooting the video. You
He
are.
is the one shooting the video.
You're the one doing the bulk of the talking.
Yeah,
Not
because
the
he's a
10-year-old.
10-year-old. I'm not going to have a 10-year-old debate with an adult. That would be ignorant.
What's the purpose of a 10-year-old debating with
Because
the adult?
he's not debating at all. He came here to shoot his video.
So our current policy,
Policy doesn't matter. It does not trump the Constitution of the United States of America any day of the week. That's why you can't have rules about black people in a church. You can't have rules about black, or not in a church, but in a public place.
You can't have rules that go against your constitutional rights. Constitution, your policy. That's how that works. Also, public servant, I'm going to be requesting that video, so you might not want to delete it.
Okay, so photography and videography policy. When the library is a public place, is considered a limited public forum under federal law.
No colored people.
Public
Yeah.
libraries may reasonably restrict the exercise of free speech rights within their buildings, particularly when the conduct would be disruptive to
We
or
weren't
interfere
disrupting
with other
anyone until you
patrons.
started.
And that patron was interrupted.
No, she wasn't. She chose to
She
leave.
felt the need to cover her face
That's
in
her
order
choice.
to be in the public library.
That wasn't until you started boxing us all.
No. No.
Hey, you called the police. Because I'm waiting on them.
So, to interfere with other patrons or staff, or to
We
be
didn't interfere with
inconsistent with
anyone.
the library's mission. As such, this policy is intended to protect library users who may be endangered or inconvenienced by having their photo or video image taken in the library, while encouraging media and others to use cameras in a way that would help communicate the library's mission, in order to provide all the library's patrons with the safest and most pleasant library experience. Those wishing to use cameras or recording equipment within Sweetwater Public Library must have
policy
their
trumps
request
everything.
approved in advance by the library director.
That's
Those
right.
photographing or videoing children must have both the verbal permission of the library director and a written release signed in advance by each child's legal guardian. Those photographing or videoing adults must have verbal permission from the subject as well as from the library director. Those not following this policy may be asked to put away their equipment or leave the facility. Library access by photographers may be limited either by time constraints or to specific areas, depending upon what impact or effect such sessions could have upon other library users. Sweetwater Public Library staff have the right to photograph, film, and record library events and patrons for promotional use. Visitors to the library or anyone participating
This is
in any
promotional use
library
now.
event being captured on film or by photograph will be advised verbally or through signage that their participation access consent to being
She asked us
photographed,
before.
filmed, or recorded unless they indicate otherwise to library staff. The above policy applies only to open public events. Closed events such as class visits would require releases or permission from the supervisor of the visiting organization. So you're telling me you're here to film, and you are. So Richard of Sweetwater, Tennessee. What is it you're wishing to film?
Oh, that's my business, not yours.
But it says right here you have
Oh,
to have
that
permission of
doesn't-
the library director.
Is that the Constitution?
No, it's policy.
Policy don't matter. Have you called the cops? 'Cause I'm waiting on them.
No, is that what you're just waiting for?
Yes. I don't want to speak to you. I do not like
So
you.
when we're done here and the cops are called, you're gonna leave the rest of the patrons who want to utilize the public library alone, and you weren't gonna film them?
I'm going to do what I want to do in public. Like a free American.
Okay.
That's how America works, lady. I thought you fought for those freedoms.
As the library director walked to the police.
And why is that? Because you haven't said the reason why and made arrangements to be able to film? And we can do that, you know, if you make arrangements ahead of time, we can allow you to film the different
Oh,
locations.
so if I ask for my rights, I can have them. That's how it works.
No.
Oh, okay.
You said you read the policy, you said you had access to the policy, so I'm
Yes.
letting you know, it
Oh,
says
right,
right here that you must request approval in advance, and then we will allow you to use the different spaces to do your filming, but we'd also like to know what it is you're filming for.
That's not how freedom works.
Okay.
You don't ask for permission for freedom.
Okay.
I don't ask to go out in public.
Okay.
But you seem to think that I need your permission for freedom.
Okay.
You're sorely mistaken, madam. And if I can't access this stuff, then you need to call the police on me to get me trespassed so we can finish this process. Or you can leave me alone and let me have full access to the library, madam.
Okay.
Because your little power trip ain't working on me. It may have worked on other people. I've read the reviews. There's a lot of people that don't seem to like you.
You mean like your review that Google pulled?
Freedom of speech.
Okay.
We'll see. So I know how to play the request game too, lady.
So I have a question.
I don't have an answer. 'Cause I'm not talking to you. I'm done with you. You can have a great day, lady.
No, I'll do that. No, not yet. You can't win sign language on here.
You can actually access it on Tennessee Electronic Library, Transparent Language. You have access to sign language as well as multiple different languages that you could be learning for free. Tennessee
You can have
Electronic
access to the
Library
library.
provides a lot of accesses.
I'm sorry. All I heard was blah, blah, blah. I'm a dirty tramp.
Freedom to read, but not in there. Not freedom to go in there and access your library. Not freedom to access your library while doing a news story for yourself. Not freedom to do that. First Amendments, don't need those. We got a tyrant over here.
Do you believe in the freedom to read?
Yes.
You don't need to answer her. She's just a stupid
I believe in the
public
freedom.
Is
I
that the
believe
only
in
freedom you believe
to
in?
read as well.
servant. Which amendment is the freedom to read?
I didn't say it was amendment.
Well, I didn't say it was either. I'm just asking you. Because you believe in that freedom more than the First Amendment.
I'm trying to understand why you're attacking the public library.
I'm not attacking the public library. I came in here with a camera one day to get water. And you go, you're not filming in here.
That's not what I said.
Yes, you said you have to get permission to
You
film
came
in here. You're not
during a day
filming
when
in
the
here.
school let out early, and you guys were having water.
School
and
did
you
not let
asked-
out early.
And you asked if
We
the
came
kids,
from school.
and you asked if your son there could leave a book with the library, and I let you know about that. And then when you said something about filming, I said, oh, when you know what it is you want to film, let me know.
No, you said you cannot film in the library without permission of the library, which is
No, I
against
did
the
not.
First Amendment of the United
I
States
said,
of America.
once you know what it is you want to photograph and video, let me know, because you have
I
to let
don't
the director
have
know
to
ahead
ask
of
your
time.
permission for my
And we
rights.
would
Okay,
have,
be careful,
careful,
please.
kiddo.
I don't need you to talk to my son. I can control my own son. He accidentally stepped on something. He's 10. Calm it down.
Oh, like that was upsetting, okay.
No, it's not upsetting, but you don't talk to my son. You're not his parent.
Okay.
Are the police going to be here?
I don't know. Are they?
I don't know. I'm not the one who calls police.
Oh, okay.
You are.
But you wanted them called.
No. Actually, I wanted you to leave me alone and let me and my son do what we're going to do. But you can't seem to do that.
Yeah, just breaking policy of the library, that's all. But no,
I
if
don't
you,
care
if you'd have
about
told me ahead of
policy of the
time what it is
library
you'd like to video, we would
over
allow
my
you
rights.
access to video locations around the patrons so that you're not interfering.
I don't need your permission to do my rights. That's what you're not understanding, but you fought for them.
Yeah,
Laugh
you're
about it.
laughable.
We'll see.
No. Nothing's been worked through yet. I'm still banned from the library for.
Banned. See, we've been trying to talk to you about the library. You're not banned from the library.
But hey.
We checked on the library today. I called the librarian. I called the city judge.
So why would the? Okay,
You are
I'm not.
banned
Yeah.
from the
Look, I'm
library.
allowed.
You want to continue with what we were doing before we were so rudely interrupted?
I like to show people the other parts of the library.
Yeah, can't do that.
Oh yeah, I got the view from the windows, but
I would like to show where the meetings were happening. Can't do that.
Can't talk to meetings either.
Well, no, you can't. There's where the limited public access comes in. That's where they can limit your speech, because you have to have a time limit for that. Because there's a meeting going on. You can't disrupt that. Because that's how public works. People seem to think I'm an idiot and don't know how public works, but I do. son and catch some more B-roll. See if we can't go in that behind the door. I was watching you and hit the stand. Yep. We'll go around and come back in the door we came in.
Going through there? Here, I'll open it.
We're gonna go check the barn door. How much you know about the called the cops? And the cops said there's nothing we can do, and then she wanted to start a fight.
I want that law.
Which I fell into, because I don't like people telling my son you can't do the things that I know you can do, because you want to have a power trip. Pit stop, Bram? Yeah, that's why we filmed over here the other day.
Library who do not wish to be filmed.
Don't care. Their feelings don't trump my rights.
Fine.
This is America. Monkey see, monkey do, right?
Oh, that's exactly right. Monkey see, monkey do.
Go on, monkey. Get it. Tania Rich, the power-hungry bitch.
Oh, we're glad you can rhyme.
I can do more than rhyme, baby. Go on, sweetheart. Get your pictures. This is what the public pays you for, I guess. Taxpayer money at work. Good job, Bram. This is what taxpayer money's for, so she can protect herself by taking my car for some reason. I don't know how my car is going to protect her, but all right. Public dollars, taxpayer money.
The picnic table's over there.
This is how we spend our tax money. Tania Rich, the power-hungry bitch. This ain't James, is it? Oh, let's call James. Can't wait to see him again. See if they locked us out. I'm assuming that's why she came out and ran her little mouth. Oh, no. Didn't.
That was very surprising.
Yeah. Super surprising. I see why.
I'm thinking I'm in the restrooms, but
Constitution, sitting right here. Right beside old Washington. But I need permission to film.
No, I was just looking at this is all past. So, it said that there was a ASL class going on downstairs right now. It said 10:30 to 11:30.
Okay, I wouldn't interrupt
What I'm
that.
saying is something we don't have access to.
Yeah, but I wouldn't interrupt that.
I'm not saying interrupt it. I'm saying that's just one more thing that.
They could have just stated that, but instead they want to be assholes. She wants to be power hungry and play her games instead of being a good public director of a library.
So I don't get why they have a constitution here, but they think their policy is more powerful.
Exactly. Go ahead and say that in the camera one more time.
I don't get why they have the constitution here, wherever they think their policy is more powerful than the constitution.
From the mouth of babes. From the mouth of babes, let me tell you. Let's go find out what she's doing with our money. Not a problem. Not a problem. Nah, you guys have a great day.
I don't see her.
She's plugging around out here somewhere. I told you, she's plugging around here somewhere. Angry looks. She's probably making sure the ASL people got out with us hurting them. Because we're here to do harm for some reason. Fucking ridiculous. She wants to be mouthy and have power and gets pissed off when people don't bow to her is the problem. It's seeing that the cops aren't showing up, which means they're done with their shit. Which means now I just use this to get her job, which is fine. Because Sweetwater doesn't need a director like that. Now we got to go and file that opens records request with the new one for today.
Yep.
If people want to play the game, we can play the game, man. If people want to play the game, we can play the game.
Nobody's coming out of the car. Yes.
Still doors unlocked. Well, Bram, it looks like they were told to leave us alone, which is good. That's what we want, right?
Right.
She still didn't. So we're going to take that job, because obviously she don't want it.
So what are we going to do now?
Come on over here. Hey, why you keep...
No, Bram.
Oh.
Stand right where you were and come over here. Just don't block anything.
Yeah, don't block the walkway.
Now tell me about what your experience was in there when you were just trying to go in and do news. And immediately we got accosted going in the door there.
I felt like she didn't want us there at all.
Right? The director of the library? You can go ahead and turn your video off.
It lasted for a little bit.
Were we free to do what we wanted, or did we have to stop constantly because of her?
We had to stop constantly because of her.
Because she wanted her power trip, didn't she?
Yes.
Even though obviously she was told, we have the right. I don't see any cops. If there's no cops, obviously, we're fine. Right?
Right.
We didn't have the right. She would have called the cops on us. She probably did. Who knows?
So in other words, you're free to go in there and film, but...
You have to be harassed by the director.
Yes.
And everyone's going to act like they're afraid of you because you have a camera. Because
and you
cameras
don't
are
have
so
access
dangerous.
to the full library.
Yep.
So.
Everyone else does. Everyone else was allowed. That one lady was allowed to walk right out and go down. She had access. We did not.
I think it was because... What do you think?
I think it's because we had cameras we were filming.
Oh, because we weren't bowing down to what they wanted?
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you, when me and Mom went to the meeting, they're talking about their policy. Their policy says no food or drink, right?
Right.
The lawyer for the city was eating, and one of the members of the meeting, one of the board of directors, was breaking policy and eating.
Oh.
So I guess the rules don't apply to them, do they? Just to us, the peasants. The pieces of crap that don't even deserve our rights. Right? Let's go walk around some more. I'm tired of people thinking that just because they want to, they can just do whatever they want. If we're in the wrong, where's the cops? If this isn't part of the freedom, where's the cops?
Sorry, bud. They locked it.
He didn't do anything today. He wasn't here, but we're going to go ahead and public employee there too. Oh, hey, fine. I just know that's a public employee.
Yeah.
So ain't gonna bother him. He didn't do anything this day. He's fine. He came out of that vehicle. Good. Hey, quick. Yeah, we got the plaque the other day. Oh, there's the keystone. Whoops, I kicked the camera. Again. You big old clumsy feet, huh?
Libraries. You can film in those.
No, we have to listen to her in public. Yep. When you're in public, you have to listen to her. That's the way public works. Yeah. Last time I checked, too.
There's a blue water room.
She a mouthy bitch, though, ain't she?
She is. Man, it's fun. I could go with that all day long.
Right? That's why I don't like getting into it, because that's what it's one of my favorites.
Oh man, I could see how long I've got on my camera. Because it was 100% whenever he started. It's 73%. Talking about the battery, silly butts. No, but she started recording around 10:15. We'll be able to see it whenever we look.
She thinks I can't request it. She's dumb. She's gonna be laughing when she loses that job. I just look like an idiot. Oh, here's the police. I knew they would be coming. Here they are.
Do you want my camera?
No. I mean, yeah. Just give me the phone.
10:20.
Are they coming in here? Or are they not for us? Oh. Oh, no, there they are. I knew they did. Let's go see what lie she's telling.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey. How's it going?
Hey, Badge, please.
This is Sergeant Kelvin Franco, pig number 807, and he gets paid $17.74 an hour to arrest people so he can feel like a big badass.
Name and badge number, please.
Sergeant Franco, badge number 807. Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Remember earlier in the video at about 29 minutes and 31 seconds when I was talking about how James and Tania Rich don't know me? To be more exact, the part where I said the only way James Rich knows our name or any of the information in this paperwork on screen is through his wife. The only way his wife knows anything about our personal information is by using her job as a public servant. In the future of this video, I will point out how she willingly gives up all my personal information to the police without being asked. This is that point in time. When I walk up, she walks away, then comes back to tell this little boy playing cop my full name and address.
I don't know.
Okay, so this is Richard
Appreciate
and
that.
his son and wife. Oh, but you make a point of getting us. Okay.
What's a Fourth Amendment violation?
Oh, she just decided to tell you my full name.
It's
I appreciate that.
so yeah. So what's the deal here? I understand.
We
the
came here
record.
to film.
Mhm.
She has a problem with us for some reason. I don't understand why. But we have the right to be here.
Right.
We have the right to film.
Right. It's public property.
Yeah. First Amendment. No, I don't have to show you. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I
Thank you.
know. No,
Thank-
I know, brother.
like, as you can see, I'm terrified of cops.
Oh, you're good. I ain't here to hurt nobody.
Yeah. Like, I hate dealing with this, but my son just started a news channel. And we were filming outside the other day. And she had a problem with the thing. So, we're going to film inside to show, because his first part of his news channel is the right to freedom of the press.
Right.
He's going through all the amendments. That's why he's got his little... And we just want to do what we want to do and not be bothered by her, but she can't stop. And I don't understand why she restricts part of the library from us.
So, the only thing I can say is I know she said that she gave you the
policy, yes.
policy, but you know,
Okay.
I understand, but it's public property, so you
Yeah,
can-
I was going to say, I'm
Yeah.
assuming you're not a white gentleman.
No, I'm not.
So if they had a policy that your people couldn't go in there, that's against the Constitution. Yeah, I'm not,
Right.
but, I got a video, sorry.
That's
But
a
they
big
can't-
difference
yeah.
between a cameraman and using somebody's ethnicity. Or
Well,
race,
I'm
so.
just saying, no, because
Anyway, so
this is
you are
this is
allowed
press.
to record.
So,
and then, but there
civil
is
rights are
there
civil
is
rights.
some there are some people downstairs. They I think it's deaf people.
Yeah, ASL,
And,
well, that's all
and
they have
she
to do
she
is
closed
say.
the door, so they do have an expectation of privacy down there because
Yes,
there's a
but
class.
no one told
but
me
other,
that there was anything
okay.
going on.
Well, I'm telling you now.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're good to. I mean, you can record
Thank you.
wherever you want.
Thank you, thank
So,
you, thank you.
That's,
Because-
Not only that, she did limit our access to other rooms in there.
yeah.
That nobody
So,
was in.
oh, okay.
No,
Okay.
we
Well, I
wasn't-
did.
no, we didn't want to go.
Yeah, we
No,
did-
okay. I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
she doesn't, for some reason, she doesn't like me.
Mhm.
From day one when I stepped in there, she didn't like me, and all I was trying to do was peddle one of my son's books.
Right.
And then it became this whole thing, and I'm like, all right, if you want to play this whole thing, I know my rights, I know his rights, and if you want to play it, we'll play. Because
Right.
I'm for everyone, but
Right.
I'm just not playing this stuff with her anymore.
No, yeah, and I mean, I think it's gotten to the point. I think she understands that
You know, you have every right to go in there. You guys obviously aren't really trying to cause a ruckus, or you'd be trying to go down there into the basement where they're having that class. So, no, y'all are good. I think she just...
He's got an interview at some point in time with the chief of police for his news thing. Like, he's legit trying to do news, and she's just trying to stop it. And I don't get it.
You're on fall break right now, aren't you?
So
well, we can probably speed that interview up then. Let me get... Eddie said something about it, yeah. So, yeah. So,
we're just trying to do news. We're not trying to catch any
No,
kids,
I understand.
You know, like, I don't know what the problem is, but I just want it to stop.
No, I understand.
In fact, she did make us feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah, like, if anyone's causing the problem, it's her.
She filmed us, and whatever.
I am going to present a theory real quick. You just heard Sergeant Franco say that it has gotten to the point that he thinks she understands that we have every right to be there. Then the very next day, her husband goes to my wife's place of work and threatens her, setting the trap for me. I then, like a fucking dumbass, fall into the trap and go to the library to show how not afraid I am. When I got there, my son and I were harassed, kidnapped, and then I was assaulted for having the gall to walk around the library and to not let my son and myself get kidnapped. I will talk about how shitty the police are in this town, but first let's watch the footage from the library and listen to my wife tell you in her own words what happened on the day it all happened.
On the morning of October 12th, 2023, between 9 and 11, a customer entered the Vision Center at Walmart 4166 in Sweetwater, Tennessee. I asked the male customer how I can help him. He replied, "Yes, you can help me," and his name, which I couldn't hear. I asked him to repeat himself because I was unable to hear his entire statement. He repeated what he said, which was that I could help him, and his name is James Rich. He said that he wanted to speak veteran to veteran. He wanted my husband, son, and myself to stop playing silly games and harassing his wife, Tania Rich, at her work. I told him that we weren't playing games or harassing his wife, but were exercising our First Amendment rights provided by the Constitution. I told him that he needed to leave if this personal matter was the only reason he came to the store. I also informed him that this is private property unless he has other business as a customer. He stated that it was just like us, my family, going to his wife's work, the public library of Sweetwater, Tennessee. I informed him again that we were at the public library exercising our rights, not there for his wife. He said that he came here to speak with me because it would be safer than him going to my house. The conversation so far has taken place at my desk at the front left workstation inside the Vision Center. I asked him to give me a moment to gather my work materials and put them in the lab. Then I would get a member of management. He agreed that would be good. I gathered everything I was working on and carried it into the lab. Mr. Rich followed me to the lab. After putting everything down, I turned to see Mr. Rich standing in the doorway to the lab. I put my hand towards him while tactfully saying he needed to step back and couldn't be in the lab. I closed and locked the lab door. He apologized for being in the lab doorway and resumed speaking. He was approximately an arm's length away from me. He stated that he watched the video his wife recorded the day before at the public library, where she is the library director. He stated that he knew by my body language in the video that I didn't agree with what my husband and son were doing. He also said that I shouldn't let my husband's conduct drag me down, and that if I did continue on this path that I was headed into shark-infested waters. I asked him if that was a threat. He said it wasn't a threat, just a fact. He also used my military rank when saying, "Sergeant, you don't want to go down this path." I again told him that we're exercising First Amendment rights in a public place. I then stated that I was going to find a member of management for him. I began walking toward the front of the Vision Center. Mr. Rich was following me and speaking to me, but I wasn't sure of everything he said as I was focused on finding a team lead or coach. At this time, I didn't think of using a phone to page. Once I got to the front of the Vision Center, followed by Mr. Rich, I turned and looked toward the service desk. Then remembered the front-end team lead, Joe Kimbrough, had been stocking candy at the general merchandise wall next to the entrance. I turned and began to walk towards him while also calling his name once. Mr. Rich was beside me when Joe got to me. I told Joe that Mr. Rich would like to speak to a member of management about a personal matter. Joe asked Mr. Rich how he could help him. Mr. Rich started telling Joe about the situation that took place the day before. Mr. Rich stated that he chose to come here, Walmart Vision Center, because it would be safer than going to my house. Joe stated that the statement sounded like a threat. Joe then stepped between Mr. Rich and me and informed him that he needed to leave the property. Mr. Rich left. I messaged my manager, Leah Blaze, to let her know what was happening and had happened. David with Asset Protection came to the Vision Center to see what had happened. He then called the Sweetwater Police Department to have an officer come to take a statement. Officer Blankenship arrived to take my statement.
At this point, James Rich has been yelling at me and my son for just walking around the library. He yells things at us like, "What, are we just going to walk around the library like a couple of losers? Why don't you two get a life? Do you two not have anything better to do with your time than be losers who walk around the library?" I just ignored him until we got into the kids' room. As he is in the hall, he yells to us in the kids' room, "You just need to understand how to follow the rules." I then yell back, "No, your wife needs to understand she has no authority over me." Tania then starts locking doors. As I went downstairs, Tania Rich pushed past me, saying, "Excuse me," over and over, as she pushed me on the stairs to lock the downstairs door. I still go down and see if that is what she did. James is standing on the landing as I ask Tania, "Is this area supposed to be limited to the public?" James says, "Looks like it is for you today." I look at James and say, "Yeah, because your wife is a bitch." That pisses James off, and Tania puts her hand on his arm, shakes her head no, and they walk upstairs. As I get to the top of the stairs, James is waiting, telling me again that I need to understand how to follow the rules. As he says the words, "You need to understand," he pokes me in the chest. I just ignore it. We then walk into the maker's room, as I see Tania is already locking the kids' room door. James starts to walk past me, saying, "Well, if this is America and we can just do anything we want in America, I am going to stop you from going through this door." I tell him that he can't stop my free movement, and that is a form of kidnapping. He says something like, "No, you seem to think you can do anything you want in America, so I'm going to just stand here." I again say, "You can't stop my free movement." James replies, "Watch me." It is at that exact point that I put my hands up and push past James. Now I would like to point out that I am not alone. James not only tried to kidnap me, but he also tried to kidnap my 10-year-old son at this time. Here are a few more little points. There is no camera in the main part of the library. There's a camera here in the maker's room and a camera in the kids' room. Notice where the choke point is. Downstairs is locked. Kids' room door is locked. The maker's room is the only door I can use to leave, and it is blocked. Where is the choke point? In the one place where I have to use force to be allowed to move freely. It is here at this door in front of this camera. I don't have any clue where all their cameras are, but they do. Why was it so important to push past me and close me off to this point here? Then, when I push past and try to go back into the main part of the library where there are no cameras, James pushes me back into camera space and tells me that I am not going into that main part of the library. Another point to add to all the other points, because your boy got points of his own, sitting way up high.
Way up front and high.
After I move past James, my son and I are divided. Tania Rich is trying to open the door, and she is telling me to leave. They have separated me from my son, and they are trying to get me out the door. The issue is, I am not as dumpy as I appear. Under this fat is a massive layer of muscle, so I couldn't be moved around the ways they thought I could. I don't think their plan was to get me separated from my son. I think the plan was to threaten my wife at her job, get me pissed off, hope I come to the library, get me angry in the library by calling my son a loser where the cameras don't pick up audio, get me to this exact spot, and try to incite me to attack. The issue is, none of that worked. I only attack people to defend myself or my family from imminent physical harm, Words will never hurt me, and you better be damn good at sticks and stones if you want to step up to me. These people think I am some unhinged motherfucker who is just bubbling at the top, just waiting to boil over. The truth is, I grew up in a house full of women. All of those women were loud. I was a middle child. I was overlooked a lot. None of these are bad things, but in our house, if you were quiet, you didn't get heard. I have learned over a lifetime to be loud, and that is just who I am. Then they talk about my cussing. Yet again, due to my very strict childhood, when I became an adult and was finally allowed to cuss, I went apeshit, and I have never looked back. I get that some of you don't like cuss words, and I am sorry you feel that way. It isn't my fault you don't like them. I don't like any of your religions. That doesn't mean I need to stop you all from being religious. I fucking love every single part of the First Amendment. I don't think any religion is true, but they all have some sweet points about being a human. If we can all use freedom of religion to believe in what we want, then use freedom of speech to talk to each other about things with each other, and even the non-believers and the cast-outs, then what is the issue? The issue is too many teams. I am on my team, and if you're not on my team, then we are enemies. You people have lost the fucking plot, man. We are all humans. We are all screaming through space with only a small fraction of the universe's time, and we use it to fight about things that aren't our business. Why I am at the library filming my own son is none of Tania's business. Had she just left us alone and let us do what we were legally allowed to do, then her husband wouldn't be trespassed from every single Walmart in the United States. Also, he wouldn't have attacked me and gotten knocked out. Oh yeah, speaking of James Rich getting knocked out. After I push past James, you can see me getting pushed. He pushes me into his wife, into another member of the public. Then, after being pushed about 6 times, James and I leave the camera's view. When this happens, James stands in the double doorway space between the hall and the main library. I am standing mostly in the hall, but one of my feet is on the carpet of the main library. James says to me, "You're not getting into that main library." He was implying that I was going to leave via the side door his wife told me to leave through, while James was pushing me, and I was not allowed in the library anymore. In this ban and trespass letter from Tania Rich, she states that James is a patron of the library. Why does he think he gets to tell me where I can go in the library? After he tells me that I will not be going into that main library, I simply echo his own words back to him from earlier. I say, "Watch me." James clenches his jaw, and I assume I am about to get hit, so I get ready to take the punch, but instead of being punched, James Rich grabs me by the beard and yanks down as hard as he can. I pull my head up, and as I do, my body is automatically swinging a fist. As a former GR wrestler, my body does muscle memory things sometimes, and I just don't know they are happening until it is going. It has always been during a fight, and it has always been in reaction to being hit. This time it was a full-body right hook to the side of the head. As I hit James, he grabs my left arm with both of his hands and drops like a sack of potatoes, taking me with him. I use my right hand to keep top control by putting it on his back as we fall. When we land, James is face down under me with my left hand pinned under his body. As we fell, I rolled my left ankle, and that caused me to fall to my knees. My knees then pull my shorts down just enough that my whole ass is hanging out. I can't pull my pants up because my knees are holding them down, and I can't pick up my knees because James Rich is holding my arm. I yell, "Let me go," and I punch James in the ribs to get him to let go of me, but he doesn't. I repeat myself and punch him again. James lets me go, and I stand up and pull my pants up. Tania Rich is yelling at me to leave the library during all this. I look at James after I pull my pants up and I yell, "What the fuck?" and ask him what the fuck his problem is. James stands up, grabs a hat off the ground, and puts it on. He realizes it is my hat and hands it back to me. While he is doing this, I am yelling at Tania that I am not leaving, and as a matter of fact, I want the cops called now. She says that they have already been called and that I need to leave. I say to her, "What do you mean I need to leave? He fucking attacked me." She then, without missing a breath, starts saying, "You all need to leave," instead of "you need to leave." I tell her that I am not going anywhere until the cops show up, and she can go fuck off somewhere until they get here. James yells back to me while standing at the exit by the drinking fountain, "You really messed up this time, buddy. You're going to pay for this one." And things like, "I warned you guys." Then again, he had a point. This is Sweetwater, Tennessee, where You can try to kidnap someone and attack them, but you can't say cuss words in public. After Tania finally got her husband, who had just attacked a library patron, to walk out, Tania turned to me and started to tell me that I needed to leave again. I tell her to fuck off. I say that I am not going anywhere until the cops show up and my son and I go find a place to sit in the main library area. After sitting there for a few minutes, Franco comes walking around the corner. He asks me what happened. I tell him exactly what happened, and he says to me that my events are not the story of events that he heard. I tell him that I don't care what he heard. He needs to go check the cameras. He says okay, and then I tell him that I am going to go sit outside so my son and I can get away from the psychopaths in the library, and we go outside and sit down. Franco gets on his phone and follows my son and me. While sitting there, we can't hear what is being said, but James has disrobed. He has shown the officer his injuries from attacking me and appears to be dealing with his wallet. While Franco was on his phone, the chief of police, Robert Ed Byram, pulled up. He quietly stood with Franco while Franco was on the phone. Then they go into the library to review the camera footage. Shortly after Franco comes out and gets in his car, about 5 or so minutes later, the chief of police comes out. The chief goes over to the other police, and James and the officers have a little group chat. James didn't seem happy with what the chief said, and the chief appeared to shrug as if to say there was nothing he could do. The chief then gets in his truck and leaves. At the time, I did not know that the person in this truck was the chief of police. I just assumed that he is a detective like Kyle. As the chief is pulling out, Franco comes to me and tells me that the camera couldn't see anything. He then asked me what it was I wanted to do. Franco says, "Do you want to press charges or something?" I tell him I don't want to press charges, but I do want a police report. He then, in a smug voice, says, "Well, if you want to do that, you are going to have to provide your ID." I tell him okay, and he says he needs to go speak with James Rich to see what our next steps are. The two officers then come back to me, and I tell him that I just want this shit to stop. I don't know what the fucking issue is, but it needs to stop now. I state that I am not pressing charges because I am not trying to hem anyone up here. I am just trying to be a free American in America. While I am talking to the officers, James Rich comes up and starts to tell me that I just need to understand that his wife's job is to protect the privacy of the patrons of the library. I tell him that they are both wrong, and he points to the officers, points back at me, shrugs like he is waiting for them to correct me, and then huffs away. Then again later, while the officers are taking down my personal information, James Rich comes huffing back up, talking the same dumb bullshit he said before. He just can't get over the fact that he isn't right. He keeps saying things like, "Maybe we can talk like men now. Listen, you stupid motherfucker, you attacked me. You are the fucking aggressor, you stupid fuck." After a while, I get tired of listening to it, and I tell him, "You and your wife are both wrong. You need to understand she has no authority over me." And I turn and continue to give Franco my information. James just keeps pacing and coming back, trying to make his point, but I just keep telling him that he is wrong and he doesn't have a fucking clue what he is talking about. Finally, he understands he has been defeated, and he slinks away like the slug he is. Then the cops leave, and after everyone has left, I leave. After my wife has been threatened, and I have been attacked, I protest again. This time, my son is holding the Tania Rich is a power-hungry bitch sign, and I am holding a sign that says, "Tania Rich hates my rights and fuck Library Director Tania Rich." While holding these signs, Franco comes out and gives us all a master class on being a fucking dumbass. Seriously, cops, I understand the fact that we need you, but maybe understand your fucking job, or go back to pushing buggies at the local Save-A-Lot. The date I protest again is November 11th, 2023. Let's see how Franco acts on that day. Spoiler, he doesn't understand how law works, and he thinks that you can pick a couple of words out and then those two words become a whole new law. He is stupid, and the fact that he got to sergeant is exploding my mind. I don't know if he is doing special wink-wink favors in the back rooms or something, but he doesn't even understand our rights. So how did he get to this point? Now, when I protest, I want to be the only person out there. I don't trust the random people in public to control their emotions, but my son begged to protest with me, so I allowed it. I had just been to the police station that morning to find out about a ban letter that I got after being attacked by James Rich. I had been there multiple times about this, and every time they don't know anything about what law I broke to be trespassed from the library. While I was there that morning, I asked for a sergeant, and I was told that Franco was the only sergeant on duty, but he was in court. After that, Bram and I went to protest. We stand out on the sidewalk outside the library with our signs, and we just have a good time being outside with our Boston Terrier, Mr. Beans. While we are out there, the only time I talk is when I am talking to my own son. An old woman comes out of the library and starts yelling, "That is just sad. You two are just so sad," and she keeps saying it until she gets in her car, which is parked in the handicap space. My son is standing about 45 or so feet away from me. I look over at him and I loudly say, "You know what is sad? Getting attacked in the library for doing a news story. You know what is sad? Having your husband go threaten another woman at her place of work. You know what is sad? Abusing your power when you are just the director of the library." I will admit, at this time, I was talking to the lady through my son. I didn't want to talk to her, but I did want her to hear the counterpoints. Bram and I protest for about 20 more minutes, and we see a few police cars pull up. I see Franco, and we start the interaction.
What's going on?
I thought you were in court today.
I just got out about 40 minutes ago.
They're bothering you for this crap?
No, so basically, you know, you have the right to protest, all that.
Yeah.
We have gotten multiple calls. I spoke with the DA. Are you yelling and cussing and stuff?
Well, not yelling, but I'm speaking loudly when people are speaking to me.
Okay. So,
Get them out of the road.
basically, once we get a complaint and it becomes a basically an annoyance to the public, verbally, signs are fine. You know that. DA said that.
I'm not yelling at anyone.
Okay, right. But you're yelling in the area, and we have people from the general area and houses calling. So.
Well, okay, but freedom of speech.
Right, to an extent, because.
Well, I'm not going above anything other than this right here.
Okay. Well, it's causing an annoyance to the public, which constitutes disorderly conduct.
Well, no. I should have brought our stuff because the law, Tennessee disorderly conduct is not that. I'm sorry, but it's not.
What is it? Tell me.
I'd have to look at it.
Okay,
I've printed it out.
So it's in the TCA, it says a public annoyance, and then it has several steps below it, certain things that can meet the criteria. So the broad spectrum of it is the public annoyance at the top of the actual code. I'm not here saying you can hold them signs all you want. And then really the only reason that we're getting complaints is because I guess children are seeing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get that.
And hearing the cuss words, and some people don't want their children exposed to words like that.
Well, then don't come in public. I mean, I get it, but I wouldn't even be out here holding signs if I was just allowed to do what I was allowed to do.
So, I finally got a hold of the city attorney yesterday.
Okay.
All right. So, that ban, we cannot enforce it in the parking lot or out here. So, apparently, because of the video recording and stuff, the ban does stand inside the
Then that means
library
I have to file a lawsuit. And who are you going to send to lose their qualified immunity? Because I don't want to do that either.
Right.
Like,
So-
they're really backing me into a corner here I don't want to be backed into.
So-
but if that's what I'm going to do, then that's what I'm going to have to do, and I don't want to do it.
Well, and it's your right to do it.
Yeah,
and you
it's
can.
just pissing me off.
Now, us, basically, we're going to be doing our job, what we're told.
Yeah. Oh, no, I got no problem against you guys and what you're doing.
I know.
And I know I get a little heated and mouthy, but that's just because I'm a
I
little heated
understand.
and mouthy.
I know. I understand.
You know?
That subject is in custody now, thank you.
Temple. So, I just want to come out here. I know that me and you've always gotten along. We've never had a
And I
problem
don't
with each
have a
other.
problem with any officers doing what they're supposed to do. I'm trying to follow the law to the letter of the law. I even look it up. I take my time.
Right.
It took me, every time something's happened, I went back to the house and for hours I wrote that stupid 15-page statement that I had, because it all started because he wants to do news and she doesn't want him to do news, but she thinks that I'm the one who's pulling all the strings.
Right. And another thing that you could what you could do is, apparently the ban is through the library board. You can file, I'm sure you can file an appeal of some sort.
Yeah, I could, like City Hall and all that, but should I have to, I understand,
And that's another thing, and I actually spoke to our district attorney about this.
Yeah, and that's why I haven't been out here in 2 weeks.
I know. I said, can he be banned from a public place? Because it's so broad, okay?
Yeah, that's why it took me 3 days to look into it.
So it's public, and then the DA said, yes, it is public, but they can be banned. So I asked for, kind of an explanation and an example. So policies can lead to a ban. 100%. He gave me the example of
Well, yeah, if you guys would have to trespass me with threat of arrest for me to have legal standing, you know, and that's what I'm trying to avoid.
What are you getting at?
If I need, because I was told that when we first came out here and we were just filming right there, we weren't even inside, and I talked to Detective Kyle, I think it was, and he talked to the city attorney, and the city attorney told me that the only way to change the policy is to go file a lawsuit, which I've been literally doing everything I can to avoid that. And I don't want to file a lawsuit because I'm the taxpayer. It's going to cost me. It's going to cost you guys. I'm not trying to do that, you know. And then that's why when you came out here that day, I was locked and ready to argue because I was expecting you to threaten my arrest, you know. So in order for me to have legal standing to fight that policy, I have to be threatened with arrest. The problem with that is whoever threatens me with arrest, once I win the lawsuit, they've lost qualified immunity.
So we don't lose qualified immunity because qualified immunity, we are backed by what guidelines are set in place.
Good.
We're not doing this out of spite or out of anything like that.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't
doing
want
it in the spectrum of our job. If we weren't, then yes, we would lose it.
Okay, because I don't want to take any qualified immunity from anyone. Because you guys, literally, the only town that I've ever been in where any cop has treated me with any kind of respect. Yeah. I'm usually the guy that fits the description when I'm walking, you know. And shit like that. And you guys have been so good to me that I don't want to have a fight with the police.
I understand. Well,
I don't want to have a fight with her either, but I also didn't want to have to get my beard pulled out while I was just walking around public library.
I understand. And you know, I understand. I do. I just want to come out here, tell you.
And I'm sorry I'm combative, guys. I'm just.
You're good. I'm not worried about it. I know. That's pretty much all I got. You can continue. You please.
And like I said, I'm not yelling loudly. I'm just talking to my son, like Bram, like that, like to get, because he's standing on one side of a thing, I'm standing on another side of the thing, and some lady came out and goes, "That's sad," and I just started talking about things that are actually sad, like the fact that my son can't do this, or the fact that her husband went to my wife's work, and I'm not, and I cuss just because I cuss. It's not. That's just who I am. But I appreciate it and I apologize for you guys getting calls, but
you're good. You can just continue.
That's why I was getting pissed off. I thought you were telling me you have to go. I was like,
no,
what?
No, you're on the public sidewalk. So we'll probably be around. Just keep the citizens, you know.
Yeah, and I'm like I said, I'm really not.
I know you don't want a confrontation with them or anything. So
and I'm not trying to cause problems. I'm just trying to get my point across.
Right. All right. Well, we're gonna get out here.
Yes,
we'll be
sir.
around, right?
I appreciate you guys.
Yep, no problem.
You guys be safe out there.
Yep, thank you.
Franco couldn't be more wrong here. What he is saying is that public annoyance is the part of disorderly conduct that I am breaking. What he doesn't understand is that you can't just grab a couple of the words. First of all, disorderly conduct has two sections, Section A and Section B. Section A has 3 subsections. He is trying to use 2 words of Section A while not using any of the subsections. That is not how this works. In order for me to break the law of disorderly conduct, you have to pair one of the subsections to Section A. Franco is not doing that. He isn't even using the whole Section A. There's one very important word in Section A that he is leaving out, intent. Section A states, a person commits an offense who, in a public place and with intent to cause public annoyance or alarm, then you would pair that with one of the subsections to see the whole law. For example, the section of this law Tania Rich broke was TCA 39-17-305 Section A, subsection 3. Once we add subsection 3 to Section A, we can see the whole law. Disorderly conduct. A person commits an offense who, in a public place and with intent to cause public annoyance or alarm, creates a hazardous or physically offensive condition by any act that serves no legitimate purpose. Or another example would be the law James Rich broke. The law TCA 39-17-305 Section A, subsection 1. Disorderly conduct. A person commits an offense who, in a public place and with intent to cause public annoyance or alarm, engages in fighting or in violent or threatening behavior. Franco doesn't even understand the basics of his job. He is law enforcement, and he has no clue how to even read the law. We will now hop forward to later on in this day, where Franco hears me say, "There goes a cop right now." I don't see them doing anything about my sign, as he drives past with his windows up. He will say that he heard me cussing and yelling, but that is just a lie. When he walks up and turns his body cam on, you can hear the old man yelling about something, but Franco couldn't hear that. What he could hear was me while driving, while inside his pigmobile with the windows up. It is kind of amazing how his hearing works. Stupor Franco coming to save the day.
How's it going? Going all right. How's it going,
I'm
sir?
standing out here on the sidewalk. I haven't entered this place of business or anything.
What's going on? Huh? What's going on?
I and my customers should not have to look and listen to this bullshit.
I understand.
Now, I understand First Amendments, and I know he's got rights, but so do we.
Right.
And if we can't absorb ours, he shouldn't be able to inflict them on us.
Right.
So, either way, he leaves.
Okay. So, I understand that. This is a public sidewalk right here. But if he's disturbing you and if he disturbed you...
It's disturbing her customer.
Okay. So, now we're getting, I don't care what that paper says, now we're getting to disorderly conduct.
Okay,
what we talked about earlier.
For First Amendment conduct.
So, if no, there's a difference between
I haven't
doing
done
this.
anything
I
but
walked
stand
up and
here.
you were cussing and yelling. Okay?
Because he came out here and started it with me, then he's disorderly conduct.
I never heard him, never seen him. I heard you, ain't nobody's complaining on him. Okay?
Ridiculous. First Amendment protected activity, Franco.
Then my rights are the same.
Give me just a second.
You know what?
Say anything you want.
Too bad, bub.
You can say anything you want.
Make sure they don't get into it.
I'm not yelling at y'all.
Your call has been...
Yes, ma'am.
legally parked right here.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna check before
You're
I got
fine.
here.
I don't think that there's two parking spots right up here. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, what's
Hey, Matt. All right. So, still dealing with this guy. Now he's in front of a business confronting I guess not confronting, but he's standing there arguing and cussing with a business owner. I walked up, I could hear him screaming and cussing. It's been, we've received, like I said, we've received multiple calls on him. I mean, do you still not think it fits disorderly?
I don't have disorderly right in front of me, but screaming and cussing is more like it, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, and
Do you have her in front of you?
Yeah, I do. Hold on. Alright. Disorderly conduct. A person commits an offense in a public place and with intent to cause public annoyance or alarm, engages in fighting or in violent or threatening behavior, refuses to obey an official order to disperse issued to maintain public safety in dangerous proximity to a fire, hazard, or other emergency, creates a hazardous or physically offensive condition by any act that serves no legitimate purpose. A person also violates this section who makes unreasonable noise that prevents others from carrying on lawful activities.
That sounds more like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I walked up and I could hear him cussing and stuff. And I mean, I'm fine with him trying to express his rights and stuff. But I even had some of these customers that said he's disturbing her customers and he's right in front of their storefront.
That sounds like it.
Okay. Alrighty. So I will talk to him one last time and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Alright. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Alright. See you. Alrighty. I just got off the phone with District Attorney. From what I came upon, I could hear you screaming and cussing whenever I walked up. We had these women that said, yes, he's disturbing her customers. So
Person
as of
also
right now,
violates the section who makes
if you
unreasonable noise to
continue
prevent
your
from other
behavior, you will be under arrest for disorderly conduct.
Hold a sign.
No, I just explained everything to you. You're trying to twist my words. I explained every single bit
What
of the thing to
behavior
you.
other than this man came
I
out to tell
just
me to stop?
explained it to
Okay,
you.
being
So-
loud?
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah.
You can't be loud in America.
Not whenever you're disturbing the peace. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. If you want to continue, you will be under arrest.
Okay, then
I'm
I'll just
telling you
stand here and
that.
not say a word. I'll just have my rights violated that way.
Nobody's violating any rights.
You're telling me I can't speak?
Never said that.
Oh, I can't
Act like
speak in my
somebody.
voice.
Act like somebody, and then you'll be fine.
Act like somebody? What
Yep.
do you mean?
Act
If you're
like
being loud and disturbing the peace of everybody else, that's where
that doesn't. That's
This
that's
is
it.
the law.
No,
I
I
printed
know
out
the
the
law.
law.
Okay, you can print whatever
Person
you want.
also
Whatever.
violates the section who makes unreasonable noise that prevents others from carrying on lawful activities.
Let me show you something.
What lawful activities have I stopped?
You didn't print all of it off.
That's what it said, disorderly conduct.
You didn't print all of it
Well, then
off.
show me where
I will
I'm
show
breaking
you.
the law.
So,
Because it is not my intent
with
to cause
intent
public.
to cause public
No,
annoyance.
it is not my
So,
intent to cause public
I'm not
annoyance.
going to
or
sit
harm.
here and argue with you. It's
Okay, well.
ignorant to sit here and argue with you. So
Then he needs to leave me alone too.
he's not doing anything. He's sitting
He was
on.
literally
He's standing
calling
on a
me
public
an
sidewalk
asshole.
just like you are.
Was he not just calling me an asshole?
Yep.
See? He admits it. So why is he not disorderly?
You've been doing it all day.
he says it, you have it as sign, so.
Yeah.
Because I have a sign. Because I'm practicing my First Amendment speech.
You
I'm the problem.
As soon as I walked out the door.
I didn't attack you. I was standing over here.
So
You're standing there, and as soon as I walked out the door, you said,
I said,
"Get
I
your
don't
butt
want to
back
deal
in
with
there,
you.
I ain't dealing with you."
I said, I don't want to deal with you. You
Is
can
that
go
what you
inside or call the cops.
Is that what you said?
Exactly what I
You
said.
yelled at me as soon as I walked out the door.
I didn't yell at you. I'm just speaking in the voice that I speak in.
Whatever. Whatever.
City and it's got
Not coming in because you're being that way.
no need. Bram, buddy, I'm sorry you have to see some of this.
What? Because his dad's teaching him his First Amendment rights?
No, I understand teaching him that and arguing with the public, cussing in front of him. He's just a kid. I mean, but that's up to you. You're his father. I'm not arguing with you.
Okay then. I'm just trying to fucking have a conversation here. Now, is there a reason I need to be surrounded by 3 police officers?
Public sidewalk, I can stand here.
Yeah, no.
So,
I'm not.
that's all I'm saying.
You're being combative now.
You're
not
not
me.
being detained, you're free to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
just
being
asking
combative
if there
how?
was a reason. I don't care.
I just want to be out in public.
Cool.
Yep.
I'm just asking.
We have rights too. Okay.
I have not told you to leave once. I have not told you not to talk. I haven't told you anything against your rights. I'm literally just trying to practice mine. I'm sorry that everyone hates it, but you know, that's the way rights work sometimes.
My customers should not have to put up with it.
As you can see, I'm ignoring.
They've already left because part of it. So I'm losing sales because of this. So if that's not a disturbance, I really don't know what is.
I need intent. I didn't intend to do anything but stand here and hold my sign.
No, you were yelling the whole time they were trying to get in their car.
The police were here
Right
when they were
here.
trying to get in their car.
Right here.
Okay. You see, Bram? This is what practicing your rights get you in America. don't like what I'm doing, as long as I'm doing it lawfully, it doesn't matter. I'm not intending on harassing anyone, causing anyone any harm. I'm not trying to harass her. I was trying to freely, well, actually, he was trying to freely exercise his rights, and she started harassing us. This is me telling everyone how I feel about a certain public servant.
So what are you gonna do, guys? What are we gonna do?
He has the right to do this right here. So,
You also have the right to talk too, but
I never said you couldn't talk. I just said act like somebody.
I literally have to have like a bullhorn or something like that that would cause people to not be able to lawfully carry out their
My question is,
lawful activities.
my question is, I continue to lose customers.
All right. That's your question, or is that the statement?
That's a statement.
Right.
25, 57, you're not being 6, being 21.
Even though it's costing me that.
10. Yes, sir. So I talked to the DA. I walked up with him cussing and screaming and stuff. He said that's disorderly conduct. I told him it was disorderly conduct and he would be subject to arrest if he continued. Now he's being quiet and just standing there with the sign. Business owner's pissed off because he's losing customers, but I told him he's on a public sidewalk. We legally cannot tell him or make him move. So, I mean, right now we're just, I don't know, honestly. He's just trying to grind people's gears. Yeah, literally. We got to the point he was trying to argue with us. I just had our guys just stand there and not say a word, and he stopped because you're not giving him back what he wants. Yeah, but hold on. So, but yeah, I talked to Matt Dunn, and that's.
Franco walks up. The old man cusses at Franco, and then Franco tells the old fat man that I have the right to be there with my sign. The whole reason the old man is out there yelling at me is because he thinks I'm not allowed to stand there with the sign. Right after telling the man that Franco says that if I am bothering him or his customers, then that is when we are getting into disorderly conduct. I know I keep saying it, but Franco is so fucking wrong. He is fucking dumb. Franco then confronts me. I state the only reason I am even talking to this man is because he came out and started it with me. Franco says, never heard him, never seen him. The old man literally said to Franco, we shouldn't have to listen to this bullshit, 33 seconds before Franco states, never heard him, never seen him. Franco then says the reason it is okay for the old man to cuss is because no one is complaining about the old man. Franco then calls the DA and ends up on the phone with someone named Matt. Franco and Matt talk about how what I'm doing is more like disorderly conduct. They keep talking about how I'm cussing. This is all about cussing. These cops think that cussing in public isn't allowed. They keep talking about how I'm disturbing people. That isn't what is happening. People are being disturbed by the words on my sign. Franco tells me that I can't be loud and I can't cuss. After this, he states that he isn't going to argue with me, that if I continue, I would be under arrest. As soon as he threatens me with arrest, I shut my mouth. I'm not going to let this little pig arrest me while I'm taking care of my son. If you look back, he tells his boss that he stopped arguing with me and told his officers to stop. So when I wasn't getting that attention, I stopped talking. No, you dumb fuck, that isn't at all what happened. You violated my rights by threatening me with arrest, and to avoid being arrested, I complied. Then, after my rights are violated, I get told the reason for it. It is because I have been using my rights all day, and because I have a sign. Then the old man is allowed to keep going, when I was told I would be arrested for the same actions he is taking. He lies to the police and tells them I attacked him. He lies to the police and tells them I was yelling at the women getting in the car. The police were standing there while they were getting in the car, and I didn't say shit. These people just keep lying to get their way, and they don't care who has to pay the price. Then Franco tries to start a fight with me and then says, I am not going to argue with you. These people are fucking insane. Then, after, the 3 police officers who are getting paid with our tax money just stand there for around 4 minutes because it is public property and they have the right to do it. Man, being a cop is hard. You get to draw a welfare check while standing around doing nothing. After these 3 boys do nothing for a while, the old man asks them what they are going to do about me. Franco says there is nothing they can do. I am being lawful. The old dumb man then asks the question, I continue to lose customers. Franco points out to the man that what he said was a statement, and I start to laugh. When that happens, Franco gets a phone call and walks away. Franco then mutes his body cam and unmutes once he gets inside with the old man. Let's see what Franco has to tell the old man that he thought I wouldn't be able to hear.
Alright, what he's wanting out of this whole thing is confrontation. So, we shut down the yelling part, and he understands. We're going to get out of here. He's going to stand there as long as we're standing there. So we're going to get out of here. Give it about 10 minutes. Just try not to engage him. And I bet you he'll. I understand, but, if it's the way the Constitution works, unfortunately.
When I have customers
I understand.
that are leaving.
I understand.
Because I didn't no more than walk out the door and he started yelling.
I understand, yeah.
Where are my rights?
I understand. Well, and they're there. You can do the same thing, but if you were to do the same thing in front of they have private property right there. But to the next business over, and I understand it's so frustrating. It is. And all he's here to do is get a rise out of somebody.
The next thing he's going to do is going to be out here every day.
I don't know about every day. We've talked to our city attorney. We've been trying to figure things out, but we'll figure something out. We're gonna get out of here. If you'll just don't give them any attention, I guarantee you they'll leave. But we'll ride through in and out. And if he comes in your store, this is private property. So he will be. He can't come in here, but he knows that is the thing. Go ahead. But unfortunately, that's the way the law works. We don't write it.
I know you don't. I know you don't. Okay. We're well aware. Loopholes are all over the place, and you can't do nothing about it. And that's exactly what I just said to him. He's figured out some loopholes that he can pull, just like some of these other entitled people, and they just do whatever the hell they want because nobody's going to push them.
I agree.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm not one of those.
I agree. I understand. But we're going to get out of here. We're not going to give him any attention. Give about 10 minutes. He'll get bored because he won't have anybody confront him. But we're going to get out of here. If he tries anything in here, just call us, okay?
Oh, I will.
I'm sorry.
No problem at all.
We'll try to get this handled, be able to handle it better.
Handle what he's doing or whatever it is.
Right.
Okay?
I understand.
One way or another.
I understand. Right.
They can't keep affecting small businesses
I understand.
that way.
I understand. Yeah, we will. All right, let's go, fellas.
Thank you guys again. Please stay safe out there. I understand you're going to be fine.
Hey, we're just gonna ignore him from now on because he wants confrontation. So that's what we'll do.
Did you hear that pile of shit? He said we shut down the yelling part. Until the old man came out, I wasn't saying a word. Then I guess if you are holding a sign and you have been doing it all day, then people can yell at you. And you better shut your fucking mouth. Then Franco said the words, "It is the way the Constitution works, unfortunately." What in the literal fuck? Again, how in the fuck did he become any kind of law enforcement, let alone sergeant? He swore an oath to this thing that is very unfortunate. What the fuck? Where the fuck are the real Americans? Franco then lies to the man and tells him why I am there. Then he says the words that let me know everything I think is true.
We've talked to our city attorney. We've been trying to figure things out, but we'll figure something out. We're gonna get out of here.
They started these plans the day I was filming outside the library. Sweetwater, Tennessee does not like when its citizens use their rights. If you are still here, thank you for watching to the end. I just want to take a second to point something out. I do not like Tania Rich, James Rich, or Adam Ardowell, but I do thank them for their service. Everyone should understand that people have fought and died for the small things we all take for granted. I do not. Thank you all for your sacrifice and your service. Now, I would like to do a special thanks To the public servants of ShitTwater, Tennessee, thank you for being so fucking stupid that you don't even understand that you are on camera. Thank you for providing me with the proof of how fucking stupid you are. You know, the police body camera footage and library footage. And a very special thanks to the ShitTwater pig farm, the police station with such small dicks that you have to let them violate someone's rights and roll them around in flour to find their wet spot.